G'day everyone, my name's Ash, this is Danny, doing our first video here of metal detecting. We've got F75, what's yours? F4. Here at our favourite spot, it's a ghost town I guess. There's nothing left now. It started in the late 1800s and was gone sort of 20 years later. Most of the stuff was removed, so there's just piles of rocks and finds left. So grass is pretty long, but we'll have a crack and see what we find. So first real find is a button. Pretty common find out here. This one's in really good nick actually. It's still got the plating on it. It's our own make or our own brand. It's a fairly common one that you find. Cool. Let's see what we get next. So Danny's onto something over here. This is the usual sort of thing that we look for out here. You can see it's nothing but a pile of rocks now, but it was probably the chimney or something. There's a bit of an old well around here somewhere as well. She's got a 68, which is usually good for a penny. Yeah, those rocks look like fun.
Oh yeah. Signal's like right at the base of it as well. Might have to come back to me.
This is that old well. You can see it's all stone lined and stuff, which is pretty cool. Well made. Especially since it hasn't caved in over the last 100 odd years. The last find that Danny was digging madly for was actually sheet metal, which is another common find out here. The fishes seem to love it as well, which is unfortunate. Anyway, hopefully something good soon. It's not exactly a thrilling find here, but it is a nice old piece. Really old square nail. It's actually brass or copper or something as well. Gave a good signal. Very coin-like. Just a nail. But yeah, that's nice. Alright, so I just dug a really strong signal here. It's 53 or 54, which is a good sort of non-ferrous range. Come up with this thing. It's a pocket watch back. Another really common find actually. Those old dudes must have lost so many watches. It's just insane the amount of stuff you find. This one looks like it's brass obviously, but it's probably been plated. On the inside there's possibly some gold. It's a gilt. There is a maker's name on it as well. I won't try and clean it up too much. I'll give it a go when I get home and put in some still photographs and any info I can get on it. But yeah, it's got a nice milled pattern on the back, which is pretty cool. Nice green patina as well. Nice. Alright, just thought I'd give you a look at what I hear with this machine. I won't go into settings too much because it's really tedious. Basically I run sensitivity as high as you can go without the chatter being excessive, and this is a pretty noisy machine. Disc level 0, which again with this machine some people call it a high gain mode. I don't know if it's strictly a gain setting, but it is a lot more chattery, and you hear all the iron. You can hear all the grunts and pops and things. Number of tones. I use delta pitch a lot, which is a individual tone for each conductivity rating, but in this sort of place I'll use a 2F, which is good. You get iron and the mid tone for anything else, and process PF or ploughed field is what they call it. It's nice and quick like the DE mode, but it's more tolerant to this rough sort of terrain, so if you've got to lift the coil to get over grass and then you're back into a hole, it doesn't sort of false as much, I guess. Anyway, I've just come across a really good tone here, which is a 66, which is generally a Britannia penny with this machine, so I'm pretty optimistic. Could be sheet metal as well, but let's see how we go. I'll try a live dig. I don't want to do too many of these because probably make you quite seasick, and the battery life on these GoPros is just woeful. Hopefully the angle's alright for you there. I'm not sure how this camera works, I haven't really used it much yet. Ooh, seems disturbingly big, may not be a koi. You can see how sandy this soil is. It's just bone dry at the moment. Oh, she's in here. Oh, I see rust. Ah, it's a buckle. So yeah, it's brass obviously, hence the nice non-ferrous tone. It's still got some of the leather on it as well. Probably off a saddle or something like that. That's pretty cool. I'll give her a clean when I get home and put some pictures up for you. Coin would have been better, but that's alright. Okay, so I had another good non-ferrous signal here. Looks like a piece of a light or a lamp. Again, it's brass. It's got a bit of a pattern on it. I don't like to clean these things too much in the field, but yeah, it's kind of cool. There's another target right next to it actually. Could be another part of it, so I'll dig that up and give you a look if it's something interesting. Well, it wasn't a piece of a lamp, it's actually a projectile. Not sure what caliber that is, I'm no ammunition guru. I guess probably a 303, something like that. But yeah, someone else might be able to give me the info. I'll subtitle it in. You can even see the rifling on it. Pretty cool. I do find a lot of shells out here, lots of 303 hulls and the projectiles, complete shells as well. And also the big old Martini Henry ammunition, which is pretty nice. Usually in good nick as well. So I've had a good 25 sort of signal on the machine, which in modern areas is foil, but out here where there's not a lot of trash, it's usually buttons, sometimes jewellery though, so let's see what we got here. Probably garbage because I'm doing this live. Yeah, well there's one of those clock gears I was talking about earlier. No shortage of them. I can't get over it. Clocks can't have been cheap back in the day. Yet you find tons and tons of this gear. Frames, whole mechanisms, and yeah, millions of gears. Interesting. Okay, so I came across another one of those tones that I mentioned, which sort of the low non-ferrous range, so 20s and 30s, which is usually good stuff. And I think I found one of my favourite things, which is some costume jewellery. I haven't taken it out yet. Yeah, I found a couple of things like this. I think it's like a possibly a lady's belt or something like that. The other one I found was complete. It's 300 mils long, made up of these segments. I'll have a good look in there in a sec. There might be more of this one, but yeah, it's really cool stuff. Some sort of pressed metal. It's brass or copper. This one has some kind of maybe a fruit motif, something like that. Looks kind of like a berry there, and there's some leaves. Let's check the hole, see if there's any more of it. Yep, that's promising. There's a few little shards of it. Taking a bit of a beating, unfortunately. You can see how it would have been gilt. I'm not sure if it was gold. Mind you, I'm not sure what else they had available back then. Yeah, that's about it, I think. But yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Well, I did actually find more of this, but it wasn't in the same hole. It was, it's got to be a good 5 or 6 metres away. So, yeah, not sure what's going on there, but you might be able to construct the whole thing. Well, another bullet here, same calibre as the last, also fired. I won't film any more of these, you find so many of them. Right, on to the next. Okay, so I picked up something here, not sure what it is. Could be off some clothing, maybe a scarf or something. These kind of loops are generally intended to go through, or cloth will go through them. I'm not sure, could have had some sort of face over it. I can't see any markings on it. I'll give it a clean when I get home and see if there's any marks on it. Another mystery object. Well, not really, it's probably a bike bell, I would say. It looks as though there's been a spring or some kind of mechanism inside. It's had a hole punched through it actually. It may not be a bell, but it definitely has that look about it. So the next one here's another piece of a lamp. Old Kero lamp or an oil lamp. Flat as a tack. But these are good to find because they quite often have pattern marks or other sort of information on them that makes them dateable. I mean, we know this area is from the 1800s and that's sort of backed up by most of the dates that we found on things like this. So we've got a nice little find here. Not sure exactly what it is. It almost looks like a shoe. Potentially it's off a doll or something. I don't know. Probably not, but it's very ornate. Brass or copper again. It's yeah, it's been plated. You can see it looks like silver plate, something like that inside. This is the good thing about these old sites, you find some really strange stuff, things you just don't see these days. It's always interesting. Alright, see what we get next. Okay, well, I think I might have just had my find of the day here. Looks like a ripper. I think it might be a token. I've never actually found one of these before. I'm reluctant to try and clean it too much. What have we got here? Alex Ferguson, something Highland whiskey. May not be a token. It could be a tag off a bottle or something like that. It's hard to see how it would have been attached though. I'll have to do some research on that one. Still, that's pretty cool. Nice. Might find some good stuff in this spot. Alright, so next one, boot heel. Do find a lot of these too, but they're kind of cool. They clean up really well in the electrolysis bath as well. A personal find. Alright, on to the next. Another interesting old find here. It's a foil shotgun shell. I believe so anyway. Looks the right size. It's Yeah, foil wrapped over cardboard or something possibly. Quite old. Brass or copper. This is a typical 1800s era type thing. It's one of these old buckles. Paris buckles we call them, because it's got an ornate design and actually says made in Paris, I think. Never actually worked out what they're off, whether it's from a scarf or it's a bit fine for a belt. If anyone knows, let me know and I'll subtitle it in. You can see the Paris mark on it. Complete, which is always a bonus. Well, we're going to call it a day. Didn't find heaps today. I got a little token or whatever it is, a whiskey token. Bit of jewellery. Danny got a ring and a button. But we'll clean it all up and put in some pictures anyway. Take it easy. Shout out to Warren as well from NQ Explorers. Love your videos, mate. See you next time.